Hey guys, Andy back here from Mediocre Hobbies coming at you with more Skaventide content. You guys have been soaking up the videos that I've been making for this box set so far. There's obviously a whole host of people who are looking to get as much information as humanly possible before they get their hands on the box set. And the 3 Skaven video I did on Saturday did quite well. You guys seem to like that one. So what I'm going to do for you guys today is show you a couple of alternative ways to paint Stormcast Eternals that are not gold. These are not made up color schemes, these are actual official Stormhosts from Games Workshop, from the lore. I'm going to give you a little bit of information on those lores as well, and just show you how to paint them, a basic Liberator from 3 different Stormhosts that you haven't seen before. So it should be a fun video. Before I get into it, I just want to say a huge thank you for all your continued support, guys. Whether you're just watching the videos, whether you're liking, whether you're commenting, subscribing, whether you're a member of the Patreon, whether you're on my Discord, or watch me on Twitch, all those things really do help out immensely. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you everyone out there who has enjoyed my content and wants to continue watching me moving forward. Like I said, there's a bunch of different ways to support me down in the description below. You can go check them out for yourself if it's something that interests you. Okay, without further ado, let's dive in and paint some non-gold Stormcast. And one last thing, just because I'm not doing a video on painting gold Stormcast, I have already done a whole host of videos on painting gold Stormcast. So if you want to check those out, I will leave them linked down below as well. So don't feel like I'm just losing out on the gold ones. They're still my ones. They're the Hammers of Sigmar are still my personal Stormhost, and the one I'll be painting the majority of this box set as. Okay, now we can jump in to painting these guys up. Okay guys, these are these 3 extra new Liberators that I've constructed and sprayed ready for the videos in today's video. That makes no sense, but we're going to stick with it anyway. So yeah, like I said, it is the new sculpts of Liberators. They are absolutely stunning, and I'm going to show you guys 3 different schemes, ways of painting these guys that are not just gold. So the first one that we are going to focus on is the Astral Templars. Now the Astral Templars are an awesomely colored Stormcast army. They are beautiful in the color scheme that they are, which is the kind of pinky purple color, more like a Screamer pink style color, if that means anything to you guys. So first of all, a very quick brief explanation of what the Astral Templars are. The Astral Templars, also known as the Beast Slayers, Haven's Claw, and Bane of Tyrants, are a Stormhost of Stormcast Eternals wearing dark purple armor. The Astral Templars not only dare to enter the Gnarlwood, but returned out of the Dark Vicious. They suffer no monster or beastly abomination to live, and their feral upbringing makes them very skillful at hunting these beasts. Each of them is a warrior born, and their comrades are amongst the most ferocious of those. They are never more at home than when surrounded by enemies in battle. Their trait, their commanders take great delight in hurling themselves into the most desperate of combats. So that's just a small bit about the Astral Templars. They're a very cool Stormhost. Now some Stormhosts have lots and lots of information and background about them, and some don't have very much at all. They're not, unfortunately, like Space Marines where they have been fully fleshed out just yet. But as time moves on, we do learn more and more about these guys. Now as you've seen, I went with my standard contrast base coat style for getting these guys ready. We did Volupus purple for the armor, and then of course we went in with things like Gnarlwood for the leather bits on their belts, the bits that hold on their sword, a bit of lead belcher for some of the silver scales, trim and hammer top, and then of course the gold, which will go into the trim of all of the armor, plus a huge portion of the shield will go into this stylized gold as well. And one thing that you're going to realize from the 3 Stormhosts that I'm showing off in today's video is they often share very similar painting styles, apart from that main color. Which means that if you watch this video and you pick up how to do the gold trim and how to do the silver and how to do all those other bits and pieces, the leather, you can then just swap out the armor color for anything else that you like, any other style or take. If you want to do orange ones, do orange ones, do red ones, and then just follow the same steps for all the other colors that I show in this video. There is, of course, now a whole host of Stormhosts that you can see. If you just Google it, throw into Google Images, Stormcast Stormhosts, you will see a whole bunch of different color schemes. Some of them have awesome backgrounds, some of them are just names, but that's up to you. After that, we're going to throw some Nuln Oil after all the base coats are on, just to shade down everything, add a little bit of depth into the recesses. It really helps with all the metallics, the golds, stuff like that. It does a pretty good job over the pink as well. It is a darker pink tone. If this was a very bright and shiny pink, I wouldn't be throwing a black over the top of it. But as it stands, this is totally fine. We will be layering it up anyway and kind of putting that color a little bit brighter. Like I said, it is a dark purple color scheme, so we're not going to go too crazy. And another thing about this is I'm trying to show you guys, obviously, alternative paint schemes for gold armor, but also I want you to be very achievable schemes, things that you could buy the Vermintide box set or Skaventide box set and have your Stormhost, half of the box set painted up in a week or so, and without too much kind of stress. I don't like the idea of anyone being stressed painting their army, so as easy as I can make these schemes, I will do that for you. So as you can see, we're going in now with Screamer Pink with the slowest part of the painting, layering up that armor. But as you can see, I'm just going quick enough, hitting all those raised panels and leaving that nice non-oil shaded areas left alone, all those recesses. This will create a really nice contrast between all the panels, the gold, and stuff like that. Just take your time. For me, it only took one coat of paint. If you're finding it's a bit thin and streaky, you can of course do a second coat on some of the more prominent areas if you so wish. Or when you're doing things like characters or things that stand out more, you want to put a little bit more effort in, that's no problem at all. As you can see, I'm now working around that beautiful pink shield. Gold and pink works really well together. And that is the thing, it's almost like the Custodies. I've always been kind of, you know, there's other ways of painting them. You're not locked into gold. And I feel, unfortunately, there may be a lot of people out there who feel that Stormcast have to be this metallic color, whether it be gold or silver, where it's just not the case. They are like Space Marines. There is a million different color schemes out there for you to try and sink your teeth into. So don't get bogged down if gold is not your thing. It's not how you want to paint your Stormcast. I'm sure there's a scheme out there just for you. Grabbing a little bit of black contrast here and feeding it in between the recesses of all the armor panels, all those soft seal areas where you can see the leather showing through to help. Obviously, he needs his like boots on and he needs his legs to be able to bend, so he is not going to be armored head to toe, if you know what I mean. There has to be some movement in his armor, and that's where that comes in. Very quick step, but it does help break apart the model. And then of course move over to things like Lead Belcher and add very quick highlights to all the metallics across the model, so all the silver bits and going across to all the shield bits, adding a little bit of sharp contrast. And as you can see, it's just little kind of touch highlights. You can see me working through it really fast. I'm not overthinking it. I'm not like, you know, fretting about where each exact highlight goes. Just hitting some raised areas, some sharp areas. Adding it like as a kind of like a dragged edge highlight around the shield. Like I said, it doesn't have to be, you know, pristine, and it will just make that gold pop. Like I said, I'll be painting these guys kind of 5-10 at a time for Liberators, so I want the scheme to be easy. Katajan Flesh has been my go-to to highlight any and all kind of leathers and stuff that I've been using for the last while, so I'm going to very quickly go in there and paint up his belt. Now, normally the handle of the sword and the handle of the hammer, no matter what Stormhost I do, tends to be that kind of pinky tone, but unfortunately that would blend in with the armor a little bit too much. So for this, I went for the same brown that I did for the leather. And that's why it's not kind of screaming out at you, but I think it still works. But for all the other Stormhosts moving forward in this video, you will see they will have the same kind of pink handle that I used to paint this armor. So this is our finished Astral Templar, a very quick, very accessible scheme. I think he looks fantastic. I think if you put kind of 2 or 3 units on the table in this scheme, it's going to stand out and look pretty awesome. I'm still not sure which is my favorite style of armor in this particular video, but we'll go through them all and you can probably help me decide. So the next one that we are going to be tackling in today's video is going to be the Celestial Vindicators. Now, I have a slight bone to pick with the Celestial Vindicators because I had a different scheme picked out kind of at the start of this video for these guys. And that is, of course, a turquoisey color, because the first image they showed of the Vindicators from the Celestial Vindicators was very much a turquoise scheme. Now, if you type Celestial Vindicators in now, all the ones Games Workshop show off are a much darker blue. Even the Heavy Metal team is painting them up as a darker blue scheme, not as turquoise. So in my head, I got slightly worried that I was going to do the wrong scheme, so I decided to fold and do the darker scheme like most people seem to do. Like I said, if you go type in Celestial Vindicators into Google Images and have a look, it's all a darker blue. Now, unfortunately, as I started to read up on their lore, which I will now do now, you will see where my problem comes in. So, the Celestial Vindicators. We fight, we kill, we win. The war cry of the Celestial Vindicators. The Celestial Vindicators, known as the Vengeful, the Hate-Fueled, and the Hurricane of Blades, are the 6th Stormhost of the Stormcast Eternals to be founded. They wear turquoise-hued armor. You see my problem here? Forged from heroes plucked from the most war-torn lands, they are fearless even amongst the might of a bloodthirster. They carry a deep hatred of all things chaos, making them stern and unforgiving, and creating a deep bond with their brethren. This makes them vengeance incarnate, relentless in their pursuit of vengeance against chaos. The Celestial Vindicators know neither mercy nor restraint. They chant many grim war songs to battle channel their fury against their foes. So, yes, they are supposed to be a turquoise hued armor, and I don't know why the community as a whole has moved kind of further away from that, because I thoroughly believe that a turquoise hued armor would be nicer. I may in fact go back and do another video on the Celestial Vindicators where I go for the old school style of paint scheme and do the turquoise, because I would much prefer turquoise to the dark blue I have chosen here. I don't dislike how this particular scheme turned out. I still think they look awesome, and as a Stormhost, I think they're going to look really cool. I think me personally though, I prefer turquoise to dark blue, but when it's finished, you guys let me know. Maybe do a little bit of research yourself, find out some images on Google, and let me know what you think the actual tone of the Celestial Vindicators are meant to be. I think they've got an absolutely epic story. I love the idea that they hate chaos. They are obviously designed to hunt down and destroy chaos and take back the realms for order. I like that they are the 6 Stormhosts to be created, so they are quite like one of the originals almost. So once I got the base coats in, obviously we went for Nuln Oil again. We're going to go for Nuln Oil for all 3 of these hosts. I think it's a great way to shade things down. Because Nuln Oil now has obviously that new formula, when they redid all of the shades to go into the smaller pots, they obviously diluted them a little bit. If it was the older pot, the 24mm pot, I probably wouldn't be throwing Nuln Oil over the top of all these, because it would have darkened down that pink on this blue a little bit too much, and it definitely would have darkened down the kind of white scheme we do at the end. But like I said, as a scheme, this looks pretty nice. It is working. I'm going to go for Macragge Blue. I nearly went Kaldor Sky to pull it bright, but once again, I referred back to the images and I just saw darker and darker tones. So Macragge Blue was used to add the highlight to the armor. Let's see, these guys have white pauldrons as well, so if you are following along with that, make sure it's white pauldrons, blue from pretty much the rest of the armor, silver skirts, and then gold trim on everything else, which is pretty much most of the Stormcast Eternals follow that logic with a gold trim. Now, I'm a person that loves both the old Liberators and the new Liberators. I don't actually think there is Stormcast miniatures out there that I don't like. I like them all, hence why I have them all. Currently, as of today's date, the date of making this video, I own every single Stormcast miniature that has ever been produced. It is quite a hefty collection now. And there isn't any out there that I'm like, I don't like this. I wish I didn't own this, or I'm never going to paint this. They're all got their place for me. I am a Stormcast fanboy. So I'm not one that was like, God, we really need new Liberators. I'm like, the Liberators are what they were, and now they are what they are, and they're both fine. I'm glad I have the old ones in my collection, and I'm happy to have new ones. Grey Seer is used to highlight the pauldrons. It's one of the tricks that I often do, and that is when something needs to be white, I don't paint it white. It's an off-white. Your eye tricks it into being white as long as it's not next to white, if you know what I mean. I think it looks really cool. It's a lot easier to paint, and I think it sits next to the blue a lot better than like a stark white would. And then, of course, as is tradition, we are going to grab a silver paint, which is, of course, Leadbelcher once again, and do the same thing we did with the Astral Templars, which is to highlight all the gold. Once again, just a touch highlights like we did before. And this is, once again, what I'm talking about. As you can see, I painted obviously the leather straps and the belts all the same, and the gold is painted all the same. It's just that primary color. Just take it out, swap it in for any other color you like to paint up your own Stormhost. I don't know if anyone out there has started to receive their box sets yet, but they should be arriving with people anytime this week, I think. So there's going to be a lot more awesome content out there. I know there's quite a lot of content already. A lot of the content creators did get sent the box set to make. But I really feel like it doesn't really come into its own until the community gets it. And they just go nuts and you get these stunning results. So I can't wait to see it. So here's my finished Celestial Vindicator. Like I said, he turned out much darker than I personally would have liked. But that's what it seems to be online. I would be happy enough to have an army of Stormcast painted like this. I would love to know if anyone out there watching this video has decided that that one is their favorite, because definitely the first one or the last one for me are the standout ones. So the next Stormhost is obviously the kind of whiter one, and it's just called the Maelstrom of Light. That is what they are known as in the original picture. And this is the information we have on them so far. The Maelstrom of Light is a stormhost of the Stormcast Eternals, known as the purest of warriors, that turned back the demon legions at the Battle of Verdant Abyss. They wear white armor. Yeah, that's it. There's no more. That's all we got on them. And that is the thing. Like I said, Stormcast are still quite a young thing compared to things like Space Marines. So all their chapters / Stormhosts are not going to be fully fleshed out just yet. But I did want to give you guys a variety. So I didn't choose these 3 Stormhosts based on their lore. I did them based on varying color schemes. We've already done gold. We did the black ones the other day. So now it's time to give you obviously pink, blue, and white. It's almost like we're collecting the Power Rangers over here. I just want to give you as much variety as possible. I don't want to, shoehorn people into having to paint a specific scheme. I like there to be options. And you guys clearly are thirsty for this kind of content, as the Skaven content with the 3 different versions of clan rats did quite well. And there's a lot of comments on that video asking for even more clan rats to be shown off. So I may go in with a second clan rat video and do another 3 clans. Molder, Skyer, and I don't know what else. There's a third one out there. I've already done a video on Clan Scurvy as a standalone piece for the old world, so you can go check that out as well if you'd like to learn more about Skaven. And then obviously I did the 3 other ones there for Saturday's video. These guys have a lot more gold than previous ones, and I know the other them have a lot of gold, but as you can see, their skirt is also gold. They are supposed to have some red built into them, so I decided the smartest thing to do, some of the older Stormcast, the older Liberates had more kind of trim for like a color. Unfortunately, these guys don't have access to that. There's no tassels or anything, so I decided to paint his belt in red. So no brown for his belt, I did it in red, just to add that color in. Lead belchers, of course, added for the handle of his hammer. And not a lot else, to be honest. The rest is all either the white armor, the gold, white, or blue. But once again, I'm going to be null and oiling over the top of this, which I know to some of you seems absolutely mental to shade down this color. And as you've noticed, I haven't done anything with the base spray for the white. I'm going to use that as the base coat for the white armor. Because like I said earlier, I don't paint white, I paint off-white. You can use white as the absolute final highlight of something if you so choose. But if you start at a pure white, you can't build up on it. It's just going to look kind of gaudy, I think. I don't think I'd ever do pure white unless I was painting something like White Scars. Now, like I said, the Nolan Oil shade is the thinned down newer version. So if you're following along with this and you have an older collection of paints, make sure you're not using the 24 milliliter pot of Nolan Oil, because that is much more concentrated. It will stain the model a lot more, make it a lot darker, and that's not what we're going for. You want the newer 18 mil pots. All the new 18 mil shades are thinner. So I can put a coat of black over things like this. And as you can see, it shaded the white armor down really nicely, but it didn't go crazy. After that, we're going to grab Grey Seer once again, and we're going to re-highlight the armor. All we're trying to do is add basically like a pin wash into all the recesses. I just find it quicker to do an all-over wash and add a quick highlight with the original color again. You're just hitting all those kind of raised areas and flat surfaces and just making it pop. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments if you don't think that this thing will still read as white. The Maelstrom of Light scheme works using Grey Seer as the color. You can of course jump up to things like Ulthuan Grey or Celestial Grey if you want to pull it up, if you want an extra highlight, spend more time on it, more power to you, go for it. I just personally am going to keep it simple for the majority of people out there. We're called Mediocre Hobbies for a reason, guys. We're just trying to help people get their basic collections painted. Going back to McCrag Blue to re-highlight the shield and of course the shoulder pads. These guys have blue shoulder pads and blue shields. I'm not mad on the blue shield, to be honest with you, for these guys. It just looks like they stole the standard people's shield. I'm okay with the blue shoulder pads. I think that adds something a little bit cool. But if I was to paint the Maelstrom of Light personally, I was to add that detachment of them, I'd probably swap it to blue for just white. So it'd be a white and gold shield. So it'd feel like kind of their scheme a little bit more. But each to their own. This is how they're supposed to be according to the internet. And as you know, the internet is filled with nothing but truths. It tells no lies. So I had to, of course, follow along. And then just like with all the other schemes, Lead Belcher was introduced to highlight all the gold and silver parts. Is there any specific Stormhosts out there that you think that I should do a video on that need more of it? Like I said, we've done gold, we've done black, pink, blue, and white. I don't know if there's any green ones out there or anybody likes any green ones out there, but I don't know if there's any red ones either, to be honest with you. I think with these videos, I cover most things Stormcast. I think I want to move across from specific Stormhost videos to do more of like the characters now, the kind of boss on his new Griff Charger thing. I don't know what the new one's called. Unfortunately, I've changed that all around on me. I'll have to do a little bit more research on them. But I want to do a couple more kind of bigger videos for the Stormcast now and the Skaven, and do some of their more intricate things like that big war machine, the warp Gatling cannon, or whatever it's called. It's like a rattling gun, but a rattling cannon, I think. It's a pretty cool piece. But it looks absolutely daunting to paint, and obviously I want to alleviate that and prove to people that it's not daunting to paint. Anyone can do it. My goal is that when people get their hands on the Skaventide box set, that it's not just going to be cracked open, looked at, maybe some of the models built, end up back in the box and shoved under a bed or in a wardrobe and forgotten about. I want people to break out their collections and get them painted up, and hopefully my videos will help a bunch of people achieve that. And if that happens to 1 or 2 people, I'm a very happy person. So yeah, let me know what other content you guys want to see based on New Age of Sigmar. Are you hungry for any battle reports on it, or is there any other armies out there that you want more videos from? Please do share it in the comments below. I do read and respond to absolutely everybody there, and I'm more than happy to give you guys the kind of content. Okay guys, and there we have it. 3 new Stormcast Eternal Liberators painted in 3 unique color schemes that aren't heavily focused on gold. I think they turned out pretty nice, and I think it'll be a pretty quick and efficient way for any of you guys out there to paint up your Stormcast army following that recipe. Let me know what you think of these recipes down below. Let me know what your favorite is. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you show it by giving the video a like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We are very fastly approaching the 50,000 subscriber mark, so it'd mean the world to me if I could get to that sooner because of your support by smashing that button. Thank you guys so much for watching to the end of this video. I hope you look forward to the rest of the videos from this box set. I'll see you in the next one.